Hi guys, happy new year. I hope you're all right, and I hope you've had fantastic Christmas period, made the most of it, been with loved ones, drank all the wine, eat all the food, and I hope you stayed healthy and fit with it. Now, I will be honest, I did get a lot of people texting me between Christmas to now telling me they've got COVID. And I'm still getting texts coming through now of people getting COVID. So it seems to be, we all know it. We've got loads of friends and family who've got it at the moment. It's almost like it's becoming more like the common flu or cold now, I would say. Now, not that I want to curse it, but it seems like it's getting around, but it doesn't seem to be as severe as it was. Touch wood. But today I want to talk about that primarily, as well as a few other things as well, to kind of take care of yourself. So obviously we're going to talk about post-COVID recovery. I want to talk about improving your digestion after the Christmas period, because we've all had those delicious foods. We're all feeling a bit more bloated, a bit heavier, a bit of water retention. So how can we, make that feel a bit better again? And also, a lot of you are going into deficits. I would say probably 90% of the team are doing calorie deficits at the moment. And basically, how are you going to feel fuller for longer with doing that? The tricks, the way to make it easier for yourself, make it enjoyable for yourself, and not feel like torture that you're in a deficit, that you're going to eat your arm. And then we'll talk about how to get your mojo back. Okay, basically, you've been out of a routine for a week, 2 weeks. Some of you took a break from me for nearly a month. So you're all getting back into it again. So we're going to talk about all of that today, and just basically to give you that boost to go forward for these coming months now. So it is true, like January is just one of those months where people feel a bit down in the dumps and kind of trying to find that motivation to get themselves moving. I get it. I was definitely feeling like that on the 2nd of January. Like my mood was low. I was feeling disorganized. I was feeling just yuck. And I was like, I've got to change this. I've got to get some routine again. And I've done it, and I felt a hell of a lot better about it. So I'm going to talk about all of that today. So anyway, let's firstly talk about post-COVID recovery, okay? Now, obviously, everyone reacts differently to it. Pretty sure majority of you, in fact, I don't know anyone in the team who has not been vaccinated. So I'm happy with that. But with that, I remember talking ages ago about how people reacted to the jabs, but now we're going to be talking about how have you reacted to the actual virus. So it's inevitable. It's like with colds and flus, you're going to get ill this time of year, unfortunately, because we spend most of our times indoors. This is how bugs spread. So let's talk about how we can get over COVID. So obviously, from having experience from it myself, when I had it, and my last day of isolation was on Halloween, yay, I did struggle getting back into exercise after COVID. Now, I didn't have a problem with nutrition in regards to kind of being on track. If anything, it was more to get my appetite back up, because some of you, or in fact, majority of you who have texted me saying you've got COVID, a lot of you said that your appetite was suppressed quite dramatically. And so I have had a few girls that have like dropped, half a stone just from their appetite being suppressed, which is quite shocking. So when I had COVID, I had every symptom under the sun, from a stomach bug to the flu. Had a temperature of 39.5. It was awful. And I was fully vaccinated and everything, and I still got hit hard with it. But it was more the bit after it. So firstly, if you're currently going through COVID now, I want you to be resting as much as possible. Even if your symptoms are a little bit, not too bad, your body's still fighting a virus right now. And it's quite a horrible virus, shall we say. This thing affects people, like I say, differently, but it's still quite a big virus, as it were, if that makes sense. So I want you to be resting as much as possible. You will probably be very surprised when you start to be active again, where you go out for a walk, you go to the shops, you go back to work. You might find that you fatigue quite quickly. I certainly did. I remember doing my first Monday of check-ins after I had COVID. In fact, I did it sort of during COVID too. But anyway, And I remember that this sort of brain fog. And I was like, but I'm over the worst of it. I should be okay. And I'm eating again and I'm drinking coffee, even though I can't taste the coffee. And it was hard. And I remember going for my first gym session, the day of freedom, as it were. And I just, I remember doing my first load of deadlifts and I was so out of breath. I remember the chest pains and just really bad cough. Now, again, everyone's affected differently, but I've had a few of you text me who are now clear and able to go back to the gym, doing their first gym sessions and fatiguing really quickly. So, first and foremost, if we have to reduce your sessions for a while, so be it. We'll have to do it. All right. It's just one of those things. If it reduces to 2 or 3 a week, fine. What I recommend is spacing out your sessions through the week. So at least put a rest day between each time that you do a workout. Okay. So you give your body that chance to recover. Okay. Now, also with the rest and recovery, I need you to prioritize your sleep. Are you going to bed at a decent time, or are you watching crap on TV? Because the TV has improved recently. TV has improved recently. There's a lot more series to watch. There's just a lot. And I'm one of these people, if I watch Netflix from 9 o'clock in the evening, my brain suddenly goes, and it goes all busy. So think of a way that you could set yourself an evening routine when you get in from work, for gym, whatever it is. Have dinner and do a wind down. So like we do for those of you who've got children, you do like a bedtime routine. Do one for yourself. What do they call it? They call it what was it? Sleep hygiene. So have good sleep hygiene for yourself. Put that first, okay? If you're sleeping way more than you're used to, that's because your body's saying, I need this time to sleep. So do it, okay? A well-rested and recovered body is going to perform a lot better, cognitively as well as physically. So think about that, prioritize it. So if you find that, at the moment, like I've literally just had someone text me now saying they've got COVID now. So he's going to be out of action for at least 10 days. And he's going to have to bear in mind then that it's going to take probably a couple of weeks until he'll be able to train properly again. Then we'll talk about that. I'll text him afterwards. But you just got to think about this, okay? At the end of the day, you've got the rest of this year to train. So don't be hard on yourself. Just take it easy. And when you do go back to training, slowly build it up, okay? So I will speak from experience of what I did, and what I did was stupid. So I went in the first day of freedom after really suffering with COVID quite badly and still having a continuous cough, which lasted nearly 2 months. I went straight in and did a leg session on the first day of freedom, which was really, really stupid. I could only do my deadlifts and now couldn't even do as many reps as normal. I pushed myself ridiculously hard with it, found it really hard to breathe. And then I did back squats and then I was done. I couldn't do anymore. I was absolutely shattered. What I should have done instead is done lighter weights, okay? Probably higher reps, so like 12 to 15 reps of something. And I should have just had long rest periods between the sets. I've done like probably 2 to 3 minutes between sets. That would have made a massive difference. And I probably would have walked out feeling good. So don't go in and go hard straight away. I really don't recommend it. It's my own fault for doing it. And I should definitely practice what I preach, because I definitely don't. So I'm telling you guys from experience, don't push yourself too soon. If it means that you've got to go light on your weights for a month, so be it. You're still moving your body. You're still looking after your lean tissue. You're still, burning energy. You're still moving and you're feeling good. And that's the main thing. Okay. But also it might be the case we have to change the style of your training for a while. So the other thing I noticed post-COVID was that I could run. I was really surprised, even though I had a continuous cough, but when I went outside for running, it stopped and I was doing okay. And which was quite lucky, because I had 2 weeks until that 10K run. So I had those 2 weeks that I really concentrated on that. And I just, after that awful lower body session, I went lighter on everything else. And I remember reducing it, I think it was to 2 sessions per week for about 2 or 3 weeks. It made a difference. December onwards, I was back to myself. So you do come back, and you come back stronger, and you eventually start to get personal bests again. All right. So just slowly build it up. So if you are suffering with it, or you are coming out of it now and you're noticing, actually, I'm good at this, but not so good at this, you need to talk to me as soon as possible. And we'll talk about how you train for the next short-term period until we build it back up. The other thing I would say when it comes to COVID as well, hopefully you don't have what I had, and I had absolutely no sense of smell and taste, because obviously then that makes drinking coffee taste like ash. Remember drinking a glass of wine, it tastes like acid. That was depressing more than anything else. My God. But my sense of smell hasn't really come back still. And it's been 3 months. It's crazy. But my taste has definitely come back. But what I would say with this is nutrition. Okay, try and fuel your body best. So there's going to be other bugs. There's going to be all sorts of things going around at the moment. We are, having less daylight on our skin. So we need to find ways to take care of ourselves. So lots of fruit and veggies is the obvious really with that one. And obviously you will pretty much stick to your protein targets, which I know it's very rare that I kind of nag you guys about it now, because you all seem to have it instilled in you. So just try and have a lot of color and variety on your plate, even if for those who are cabin crew, I would say, when you can take a meal with you on the plane, pick something that's going to be very filling in terms of just a lot of fruit and veggies on there, some wholemeal products. So you could do something like, a pasta dish. So you could have whole wheat pasta in there, peppers, onions, mushrooms, spinach, all of that mixed into it. So you've got quite a decent, healthy portion there. And then, a protein source of your choice, whether it's meat, fish, or a plant alternative. Have a think about it. That is going to obviously make you feel fuller for longer, but you're going to start to notice your energy starts to pick up again, and you'll feel fantastic from it. The other thing I would highly recommend, supplements. Now, obviously, yes, I'm not qualified to tell you like particular supplements, but what I can tell you is the importance of multivitamins. If you are not really getting much sunlight on your skin, so for those particularly who are not cabin crew, vitamin D supplement would be a great idea. Omega-3 and omega-6 supplements are really good, which you can get the vegan option or you can get the fish oil option. And if you are, I'm trying to remember everything I said now. And if you are vegan, you're taking your vitamin B12 as well. Okay, really important. If you have a good amount of that in your body, you're going to notice your energy is going to come up quite considerably. It's going to make you feel good. So fruit and veggies are really going to support in terms of making you feel fuller for longer. It's going to increase your fiber intake, and it's going to have things that are called phytochemicals in it, which help boost your immune system. So that's why when people say, I'm going to eat satsuma because it's got vitamin C and it's going to boost my immune system, that's because it's got phytochemicals in it. So it's actually going to support your body and make it healthier and stronger. So have a think about that. Right, we'll talk about improving digestion now. So we'll go away from the COVID stuff, the dreaded vid, hey, and we'll talk about digestion. So Christmas time, we would have eaten a considerable amount, whether you were working or not. I hope that you did make the most of it and indulged. I don't care what people say. I hope you ate everything, because I certainly did. And I remember Boxing Day. This is quite disgusting, I think. It was like this big, the tin, and it was a cheesecake made just for me that was lactose free. I ate half the tin in one go after a roast dinner. I didn't feel very well. So that's the sort of way I was indulging. So things would have affected our body through that. So obviously, a lot of you, when you checked in, I'm glad majority of you, when you did your first check-ins, you all put 0 regrets. I'm unapologetic for what my scale weight is, and so you should be. It was Christmas time and you had a good time, all right? And the scale weight, 50-60% of that will actually be water weight and high doses of glycogen in your body, basically, and digestion slowing down. So that will exit, as it were, out of you. The more you get yourself into a routine now, so whether it's tracking again or whether it's just being mindful with your food, because not all of you track, but some of you just like to be a bit more mindful with your food, whatever it is, getting back into, you know, getting your steps in when weather dependent, being active, doing my classes, whatever it is, getting yourself back into that funk, it's going to make you improve your digestion already. The other way you can improve it, hydration. Tons and tons and tons of water. I'm talking 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And that is something that is on one of my sort of things for this year, because I was kind of getting to the 2. I want to push it to 3 because I know it makes a massive difference. Now that in itself will help your digestion, as well as, you know, washing everything else out, all the waste out of your body properly. That is going to make a huge difference. Now, for those who are cabin crew, I spoke to, it was quite a few years ago, I spoke to a qualified nutritionist who was also a cabin crew. Very random. It's funny with crew that we always had the most random people with qualifications. Anyway, and she said to me, before you get on a flight, so say like it was mid-afternoon, before you get on, you should have already had 2 liters of water. She said it's a big thing. And then she said, after that, if it's a long haul flight, you need to have at least another 2 when you're on the flight. She said, in order to take care of your skin, take care of your organs, and just kind of help your body rid the waste properly, she said a minimum of an extra 2. And she said, a lot of people are not doing it. People are just having those little small Highland Springs or the Harrogates, I remember that, and seeing crew that would only have 1 or 2 of those on a 10-hour flight. Not good enough. It's really not good. So really think about upping your hydration, you guys who are crew, because there's about 70% of you guys on the team are cabin crew. So really think about it, okay, guys? It's really, really important. The other way we can improve our digestion is, state the obvious, fiber, okay? Fiber is known to help kind of move it, as it were, through you. Not all of your fiber is kind of digested and put to the rest of the body. It's mainly used to shift things, as it were. So where can we find fiber? So a lot of you have been asking me recently, and especially new joiners, they've been like, how do you find that? How do I get more fiber in my diet? That is through fruit, vegetables, and wholemeal products. Okay, so I'm going to show you something in a minute that I posted a while back. Basically, when it comes to fruit, particularly, if you blended it in to make a smoothie, you actually lose the fiber from it. So if you think of fiber like a long strand, and when you blend it, you break it off into lots of little blocks then. So that's lost the structure of what fiber is, okay? So then obviously, yeah, fruit is amazing for you. There's nothing wrong with having lots of glucose and stuff going around in your body, because your body needs glucose to be transferred to glycogen, which then transfers into energy, as it were, for you to do everyday tasks. But you then take away that fiber content for digestion. So it kind of does and doesn't make sense what I'm saying here, but some of it will obviously be used and digested and used around your body. So for example, you eat an apple, it's going to take away bits from that. It's going to take some of the glucose from it. And then it's also going to have some nice fibrous strands. It's going to keep to bind together to kind of get rid of the waste out of your body. Same with a banana as well. Bananas are amazing for it. So think about that. I'm not saying don't do smoothies and stuff. Like, I'm all for it. It's still great. It's still going to have lots of goodness in it. But you will notice that your fiber will drop because of that. The other thing that I would say with vegetables is don't overcook them, first of all, okay? Wet veg is disgusting anyway. It's like a wet slap. I always think of like really overcooked broccoli and I'm like, gross. Or like an overcooked mange too. Oof. Now, veggies is obviously going to be amazing for you if it's steam cooked or it's raw, basically. So steaming the veg or just not overcooking it, basically. That is going to really help. And it's going to have so much goodness in there for you. People then say, should I be going fresh? Should I be going frozen? Personally, I prefer frozen veg because when it is taken from the farm, it's frozen pretty much instantly. It's prepared and then instantly frozen. So all of that goodness is saved and stored in that item. So for example, I don't know, frozen broccoli. I buy my broccoli frozen because none of my family like it except for me. So I will then have that in the freezer and it's just good. Whereas it's said that when vegetables are left in like a fridge over like a period of a week, 2 weeks, whatever, we've all had that like one little spring onion kind of sits in that bottom shelf for like a month. Poor little thing shriveling up. Well, anyway, when we leave our veg, it has a shelf life in itself and it starts to lose that goodness over time. So it's the other thing with tinned vegetables as well. Actually, they keep the goodness of that in it. So people automatically think if it's tinned, it's going to be full of crap. No. Okay, if it's fresh vegetables stored in spring water and stuff like that, it's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. If you buy peach slices, yes, it is in a syrup, but you can drain the syrup and it will be fine. So you can do these things and it makes it a lot easier for you. And it could be easier for, say, like when you're going down routes and you're in room confinement, you could do things like take these things like tinned fruit with you or whatever. That could help you kind of keep that fruit and veg intake higher. Some of you have been taking some slow cookers down route that you can cook anywhere around the world for when you have got to stay in your hotel or it's a destination where you can't go anywhere anyway. So I've seen people kind of cook up a meal, put it in a Tupperware and take it away with them and then put it in this slow cooker. Pretty genius idea if you ask me. So have a think about how you can help yourself with that, but it will help. Now I want to show you, I'm going to share my screen and show you a few food bits. How do I do it again? I haven't done this in a while. Here. Where is it? Oh my God, I'm so bad with technology. This is embarrassing. Bear with. Says the one that's now got to bloody... I've got a... Oh, the one that's in big and green that says share screen. There we go. Right. Sorry about that. Right. So I'm going to go on my Canva. So this was a post I did. God, it was last year for women on the menstrual cycle, foods to help your cycle, but it's kind of linked to the similar kind of foods. So firstly, we'll talk about good gut health. So this is where I was talking about how to, increase your fiber. And there was a few examples here to help your digestion and help your gut health. So you've got prebiotic fibers. So that is like your asparagus, bananas, garlic. So if you love garlic, whack a load of garlic in your food, because I certainly do. Onions and whole grains. They're going to be amazing for that. Probiotics are also really, really good for gut health as well. So if you are suffering with a bit of bloating and you just, you've just noticed recently everything's being a bit more solid, think about some probiotic yogurt instead. Don't really know people that buy kimchi often, in all honesty. Sauerkraut, the same thing. I'd be amazed if you guys actually buy it. And tempeh, I haven't got a clue. I can't remember what it is. Let's go to other things that can help you feel good food-wise. So anti-inflammatory foods, these are really good. So now, particularly at the moment, you guys will be working out a lot now. You'll be getting back into it. And when we work out and when we walk away, our bodies get inflamed. So do you remember when I talked to you about how we build muscle? Your muscles rip and then they repair over time, and you eat protein and it fills up with protein and glycogen again. Well, during that period of time, your body is also suffering from inflammation. And particularly women, we are at a much higher risk of inflammation in our bodies. And these particular foods can just help that, okay? So if you are noticing that, you need a little bit of help in post-workout recovery and stuff, things like oily fish, peaches, avocado, sweet potato, onions, raspberries, garlic, those same things are coming up again. Beetroot, pumpkin seeds, ginger, paprika, and turmeric. Do you know what I used to do? And I might start doing it again. Turmeric lattes with soy milk. That is actually really banging. So you get a bit of turmeric, I think it's like a teaspoon, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon, I think it was, and soy milk. Heat it up together. Really tasty, really random. I know, very random. So we talked about good gut health. Let's talk about energizing foods. So these are also very fibrous foods, these are, but also they're amazing energy sources, but they're slow releasing, okay? So this is good for those of you who are working 9 to 5 and you need a decent lunch in you to keep you going until 5, 6, whatever time it is in the evening. You need that fuel. So potatoes, brown rice, spinach, parsnips, chickpeas, lentils, pulses, beetroot. That, again, similar foods are coming up. Are you noticing this? So it's going to really, really help in terms of just making you feel good. So these foods particularly will, will be great post-COVID, particularly. These will really help. This will help boost you again and make you feel good. So think about all of these fruit and veggies. This video is being recorded, so you can, just go back and just quickly either pause on that and just take a picture of those food items, or you can go on the Crew Fitness Instagram account. You have to scroll down a bit, but it is there. And the first image looks like that. Lady with a flower over her groin. How lovely, right? Cool. I'm going to stop sharing now, if I remember how to. There we go. All right, cool. Now with those foods, that's going to help you feel fuller for longer. So when you do increase your fiber, that is going to make you feel fuller for longer, no matter what. So if you're working night shifts, you're working long days, you're just suffering because you're in a deficit and you can't help it, you're just hungry, particularly those women who are on the second half of their cycle. These foods are going to make you feel fuller for longer. What I would also say is when you are in a deficit is that you need to think about volume on your plate. So this is nutrient dense but calorie light foods. So this is where mainly your greens, your veggies kind of kick in here. So in the summer, I do a lot of salads. So I put a lot of spinach leaves in, a bit of rocket to give it a little bit of a peppery taste. And then I'd get like a low calorie dressing. And then I'd put things like tomatoes in there and cucumber because they're very, very light. In the winter, I will do things like kale, for example. I'll get fry light, spray that into a pan, chuck a load, and obviously the pan on low because kale cooks so quickly. And I put some spices and some garlic. Garlic on top of kale is really nice, just saying. Think about that. That's also very rich in iron as well. That's one thing I would say is a lot of girls need to remember to have a decent amount of iron in their food. And spinach as well. Spinach is amazing for that. It's also, spinach is very high in calcium. So, with spinach, you can mix it into your dishes. Okay. So if you've got a pasta dish, you've got a curry, you can chuck that in there. That is really going to be so good for you. I personally recommend homemade curries because I think they're so much more delicious and you can make them quite low calorie. You can find alternatives than having, the full fat coconut milk and stuff. You can get either the light ones, you could use a coconut flavored low calorie yogurt instead, and then chuck a load of veggies in that, put some chickpeas in there. That is going to make it really filling and so good for you, and you're going to have so much more energy. You feel fuller for longer, And when I say nutrient dense, this is where it's then bringing in those phytochemicals I talked about. It's going to bring all those vitamins, minerals. You're just going to feel good, basically. So the last subject, how to get your mojo back. So obviously, for those who are in the photo shoot challenge, I say photo shoot challenge, it's just photo shoot, it's not a challenge, okay? That was a really poor way to name it. Anyway, those of you doing the photo shoot, you are already, I would say all of you are very driven and you're ready to smash it. You've all set your goals, you've had your food set for you, you've had your workout set for you. So you're ready for that. And I feel like you guys are definitely in that zone. But I've also got other people who are starting this year, obviously who are not in that, but just have got events coming up and they just like, I need to take control of this now and feel in a good place, so I don't leave it to last minute. That is a one thing I would say is with health and fitness goals, and say like you've got a wedding to go to this summer, I just strongly advise never do these things like last minute kind of, right, I'm going to do a shred for 6 weeks. I'm not a fan of that, okay? I'm really not. Firstly, it's grueling. Secondly, when you go to an event or whatever, I can guarantee even after it, you will indulge, you will overindulge, and you'll feel shit from it. And it's just not sustainable. So if you have got events this year, I say it's a slow build up. So a lot of you, pretty much all of you, your goals are toning up. How do you tone up? You build muscle, okay? And you shred a little bit of body fat. So during this time, this is the perfect time. There's not a lot going on for these next couple of months, really, is there? Very few of you have got events on. So this is a time where you can really focus on yourself. You can focus on your nutrition. You can focus on your workouts. You can focus on just getting active and feeling fit and healthy. Also, with all these bugs going around, it's really important that you stay on top of just taking care of yourself. So if you do get something, you're going to recover a lot better from it. That's just one thing I just preach about, to be honest. So how can we do this? Set yourself some kind of routine or schedule. Now, I can't structure it for you. You all live different lives to me, okay? It's easier said than done. What I'd say is, what's going to work for you, and be realistic with yourself and be honest with yourself. If you are paying to be a member in the team, then you're wanting to take control of it, but you know that I can't control it for you. So you've got to make that change. So if, say, like you've got 4 workouts to do per week, if you are working the standard 9 to 5, then you know how you can structure around that. If you do shift work, then you're going to have to every week set yourself a routine that fits around your shifts. If you're cabin crew, for example, then you're going to have to, again, either on a monthly or a weekly basis, you're going to have to structure where you put in your sessions, okay? And also when you're going to maybe get your monthly shopping for stuff to go in the freezer. So when you have landing day, you know that you've got foods at the ready and you're not going to be like more swayed towards getting takeouts and spending more money on that rather than something nice for you already, nice and easy to heat up in the freezer. So you've got to find something that's going to work for yourself and set yourself up for success. I've talked about this in previous podcasts and webinars, that you've got to set yourself up for success, not failure. So have a think about how you can do that with a schedule for yourself. And goals, we go back to goals again. We got long-term ones, break it into medium length, so like in a monthly basis what your goals are, and then you could break it into weekly. Now the weekly goals will be, I'm going to get 4 sessions in and I'm going to drink this much water every day. I'm going to eat 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. Nice and simple. Do you see what I mean? You break it down. So you've got one big sort of event or something like that you want to be, or you want to be, I don't know, in a certain size outfit by the end of the year. So you've got that goal, and then you've got to break it down. Like, right, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do that? So breaking it down. And then when you hit these weekly goals, firstly, you feel great. You feel motivated because you've absolutely smashed it. you've done everything that you should be doing for yourself. So if you keep doing that, and that's when you get things that are called consistency that come in. You keep consistent with that, you're going to see that long-term goal, and it's going to become, that dream will become a reality. So that's how you do it, okay? And with your goals, make them motivational in terms of make them realistic, okay? So for example, if you just broke your ankle last month and then you said to me, I'm going to run a marathon in April, I'll be like, you having a laugh? No, that kind of thing. So think about how it can be achievable. And also, if someone randomly joined the team now and said to me, I want to drop 20 kg in 2 months, I'd be like, please go and find someone else that'll be stupid enough to take you on for that. So yeah, that's just, yeah, that's all I'll say, is just make it something so you can then feel good from that. Whereas if you cannot achieve this unachievable goal, you're going to lose that drive and motivation, and you're going to throw it in the fuck it bucket and just can't be bothered, basically. And also, to get your mojo back, stay accountable with me. Don't go quiet, okay? I do get a few of you where I suddenly lose complete contact from you, and then you arrive again, like normally around payday, which is really weird. And then you say, I am around, I've just been really busy. And I'm like, okay. And then quite often they'll go, but I really want to achieve this, this, and this. I'm like, well, you need to start checking in with me. That's why you have a weekly check-in. So make sure you're accountable with me. Stick to your check-ins. Text me when you're not sure or you're feeling something. Text me, text me, text me. That's what I'm here for. That's what you pay me for, okay? So use your coach, all right? And yeah, I've already kind of said it. I'm just reading my notes. Future events to be excited for. Okay, so I spoke to one person and they said about the photo shoot, and then they said, what do I do afterwards? Like, what event should I do? And I said, well, what have you always fancied doing? You know, you're the fittest and strongest you've ever been. Do you want to think about, I don't know, do you want to do a charity event? Do you want to do another shoot, but a different style? Do you want to attend something? Or I don't know. So it's always good to have future events to kind of be excited for. So I am going to host more events for you guys later in the year. I think I mentioned it in an email before Christmas. Like the day of the shoot, I'm also arranging a meal for everyone in the team, and I'll send it out probably end of February to kind of get numbers of who wants to come. But also, you know, other events to be excited for. I'm looking at booking other photo shoots. I'm looking at, I really want to hire somewhere and do like a massive workout with you guys and stuff like that. So I am looking at events that we can be excited for, and you've got stuff to look forward to. Have you got a holiday booked? Or, well, I'm sorry, if you haven't been on holiday for 2 years, I think it's about time you booked a holiday, because I certainly have. Can't wait. So think about how you can set yourself looking forward to something, or yeah, just give yourself that drive. So I'm going to leave it at that and leave you guys to it, because I think I've been talking, oh my God, for 50 minutes. Right, so I'm definitely going to go. So guys, I hope that's enlightened and brought that fire into your belly, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take it easy.